You've got the skills, you've polished up your resume, but you're still just one name in a giant pile of applicants. So what gives? Well, what if the most important part of your application isn't even on your resume? Let's dig into how you can actually stand out and land that data analytics job.
So here's the deal with today's job market. That traditional resume, that single piece of paper that lists out all your skills and experience, a lot of the time it's just not enough to cut through the noise. I mean, think about it. Companies are getting absolutely flooded with applications. It's getting tougher and tougher to make a real impression.
All right, let's look at a real-world example. We've got two resumes here, one for John and one for Stacy. And at first glance, they look pretty similar, right? They've both got the key skills listed, SQL, Excel, Power BI, they seem equally qualified. But just take a second and scan them. Do you see that one little detail on Stacy's resume that completely changes the game?
So I'll ask you straight up. If you're the hiring manager and you've got maybe 10 seconds to look at each resume, which one grabs your attention? Who makes you stop and say, I want to know more about this person?
It's gotta be Stacy, right? That little link that says Project Portfolio is an absolute game changer. Seriously, it's the difference between telling an employer you have skills and proving it. A portfolio isn't just some nice little bonus. It's your evidence. It's your proof.
And this really gets to the heart of how modern employers think. Just listen to this quote from Enrique Rees over at Maven Analytics. He says, companies need to see the actual work that you can do, not just a bunch of skills listed on your resume. And he's spot on. I mean, listing 5-star Excel skills on your resume doesn't really mean anything, does it? But showing off a complex financial model you actually built in Excel, now that speaks volumes.
Okay, so we've established the goal. We need to prove our skills. But before we can prove them, we have to build them. So that starts with putting together a really strong foundation. Let's talk about the essential toolkit every single data analyst needs to have.
You know, a fantastic way to build this foundation is through a structured program. A great example is the Google Data Analytics Certificate. It's designed from the ground up to give you those in-demand skills you need for an entry-level job. And the cool part is, it was all developed by actual Google employees who have decades of experience doing this stuff in the real world.
And when you go through a program like that, you'll learn this stuff right here. This list of tools and skills, it's not just a random collection of buzzwords. This represents the entire workflow of a data analyst, From cleaning up messy, raw data to creating these beautiful, compelling visualizations. Getting a solid handle on these tools, like SQL, R, and Tableau, is what makes you a genuinely valuable candidate.
But here's the thing, and this brings us right back to our main point. It's awesome to have all these tools in your toolkit. I mean, it's essential. But the real game changer, the thing that's actually going to get you hired, is showing how you can use them to solve real problems.
And that is where your secret weapon comes in. We're talking about the project portfolio. I'm telling you, it's the single most powerful asset you can have to prove your value and show employers exactly what you're capable of. Now, a really great portfolio isn't just a gallery of pretty charts. According to the folks at Maven Analytics, it has to demonstrate what they call the analytics trifecta, and this is a really cool concept. It's this combination of 3 core competencies that every single employer is desperately looking for.
So, what exactly is this trifecta? Well, first up, you've got technical proficiency. This is the baseline. Can you actually use the tools like SQL and Tableau? But that's just step 1. Second, you need strategic thinking. Can you apply those tools to solve actual business problems? And finally, you need communication skills. This is so crucial. Can you explain your findings in a way that's clear, persuasive, and actually leads to action? You gotta have all 3.
Okay, that sounds great. But how do you actually build a project that shows off all 3 parts of that trifecta? Well, let's break it down with a simple 4-step formula for creating a project that'll really knock their socks off.
All right, here's the playbook. It's super straightforward. Step 1, always start with the business case. What's the problem you're trying to solve? Step 2, show your insights and, more importantly, the impact of those findings. Step 3, use powerful visuals to tell a really compelling story with your data. And finally, step 4, provide just enough technical depth to prove you know your stuff without overwhelming them.
This right here, this highlights a huge mistake that so many aspiring analysts make. You don't want to lead with all the technical jargon. Instead of jumping in and saying, I used a complex sum-ifs function with 3 criteria, frame it as a business problem. Say something like, the hotel I was analyzing was losing $1 million a year from cancellations, and I figured out why. See the difference? That's the approach that gets you hired.
At the end of the day, it's all about context. Your analysis isn't just about crunching numbers. It's about the solution it provides. If you can frame your work as a solution to a real-world problem, you'll immediately grab the attention of any hiring manager out there. I promise.
All right, so you've done the work, you've built these amazing projects. Now what? Well, it's time for the final and maybe the most important step, packaging it all up and putting your portfolio out into the world for everyone to see.
And the good news is, you don't have to be a web developer and build a whole website from scratch. There are platforms out there designed specifically for this. Take the Maven Showcase, for example. It's a free platform that's purpose-built for data pros to host their portfolios. It looks clean, it's super easy to share the link, and it really lets your work be the star of the show.
Now, a question I hear all the time is, where do I find projects if I don't have any professional experience? And the answer is, they're literally everywhere. You can use projects from courses you've taken, you can join online data challenges, or you can just find a free data set online about something you love and build your own project from scratch. The opportunities are absolutely endless.
So how many projects do you actually need? Well, a really great target to aim for is at least 3 high-quality projects. That's usually enough to show off a good range of your skills and prove that your first amazing project wasn't just a one-time thing. Consistency is really key here.
And one last tip, and this one's really important. Try to choose topics that you are genuinely excited about. Whether it's sports analytics, the stock market, or your favorite movies, your passion is going to shine through in your work. And hey, here's a pro tip. Don't shy away from messy data sets. Seriously, a project that shows you can take chaotic, messy data and turn it into clean, actionable insights, that demonstrates a skill that literally every single company is desperate for.
So, let's wrap it up with this thought. Your resume, that's the ticket that gets you in the door. It might get you noticed for a few seconds. But your portfolio, that's what tells your story. It's what proves your skill, your strategic mind, and your ultimate value to a company. So the only real question left is, what story is yours going to tell?